So the Infinity arc of Sailor Moon Crystal is over, which is unfortunate in the sense that it's over and we don't have episodes to watch for the next couple weeks, but it's also awesome in the sense that Infinity's been properly adapted. It was a beautiful run. I enjoyed watching every episode with you guys, and I have my review of episode 13 of the Infinity arc in the video description, so you guys can discuss that there. So for this video, we're going to be talking about the next arc, which is the Dream arc, also my personal favorite of the 5 arcs of the manga. And this is essentially the top 5 things I cannot wait to see adapted in the Dream arc of the anime, because it was essentially things that Toei Animation in the first run totally excluded. And I am looking forward to seeing these story materials essentially come to life in animation and be done proper and make Sailor Moon essentially whole. Because I feel like once the 5 things I've listed, everything from the original manga minus the Stars arc, which is so different from the original anime, has been completely adapted. So this is my top 5 things that I want to see adapted in the Dream arc of Crystal. So please share your thoughts or what you think about my list, and also please share the top 5 things you want to see adapted, or if the things I'm going to say are essentially what you want to see adapted as well. If there's something in the Dream arc that I have forgotten, please let me know in the comments below, because there's a lot of things in the Dream arc which make it very special and very unique in my opinion, and I think these are the standouts though. Okay, so the first thing I want to see is the Outer Sailor Soldiers get a crystal power transformation. In the original anime, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus all got crystal power makeup. It was it was probably one of the best transformations of the entire series. It's beautifully animated. I love the crystal wands. I just love the way it looks. And plus, I also love the super outfits. And it was also such a nice change from Star Power, which we had had since R, S, and half of Super S. So seeing the Outers get this transformation will be amazing. But I think the more prevalent ones to get is Pluto and Saturn. And the reason why is Pluto in Infinity doesn't transform at all, and Saturn gets a pseudo transformation. Now Pluto in the original S anime does transform, and Saturn doesn't transform at all, but she gets a kind of half transformation in the Sailor Moon Super S game. So, you know, the Super S Dream is essentially where Saturn's transformation lies. And I am looking forward to seeing Sailor Saturn go super and transform with Saturn Crystal Power makeup. Same thing to Uranus and Neptune as well, but we've already seen Uranus and Neptune transform in Crystal with Planet Power. But I really, really want to see the Pluto and Saturn, but all of them, because, you know, in the Stars arc, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, also Saturn, you know, they got the upgrade to Crystal Power, but we never saw that transformed out. They always just kind of entered transformed already, and that was really unfortunate. I also hate the fact that in Stars, the story was so different, but that's when Uranus and Neptune, Pluto, and Saturn came back, because, you know, they came back in the Dream arc in the manga, so I guess in line with seeing them transform is to see them again very soon. I believe they come in around Act 5 of Dream. They come in around the time Venus gets her super transformation. So anyway, the first thing I want to see adapted properly is Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Saturn Crystal Power. I realized I said Uranus a couple times too, but that's because that's how they said it in the dub, so my way of saying Sailor Uranus or Sailor Uranus will flip. Anyway, I want to see Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Saturn get a proper super transformation, because that is something that has been neglected for way too long. Alright, so the next thing I want to see is Queen Nehelenia and more of the Moon Kingdom backstory. Queen Nehelenia is my favorite villain of all of Sailor Moon, and a lot of you guys know I love Disney, I love fairy tales, and Queen Nehelenia is based on the evil queen, and sort of the evil fairy from the Sleeping Beauty fairy tale, and sort of Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, the Disney animated movie. I feel like Naoko definitely adapted fairy tales for this arc, you know, with Pegasus, even though Pegasus is from Greek mythology. I just felt it was very, very fairy tale based, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I love Nehelenia, and I love her backstory connecting to everything. Essentially, the 4th season shows us how the Moon Kingdom went to destruction. It was due to a curse in Nehelenia cast. Now, Neptune, in I believe one of the last acts of the Dream arc, says that wasn't true. It was meant to happen, but I feel like Nehelenia's curse is the reason. So Nehelenia's curse causes the Dark Kingdom to attack, and then Saturn blows everything out. So the true story of the moon is from Dream to, you know, what happened in the original, then to what happened in season 3. So it's like you get to see 4, 1, and 3 to really group it together. So I can't wait to see more of Queen Nehelenia. I just think she's a beautifully animated villain. She's regal, she's powerful, she's essentially the polar opposite of Usagi / Princess Serenity, and I think the Moon Kingdom has a lot of myth and lore. I'm actually going to make a video about the Moon Kingdom at some point, hopefully this week, if not next week, to dissect the Moon Kingdom lineage, because I think that needs to be discussed, because there's a lot of plot holes to Sailor Moon, and I think the Moon Kingdom backstory is very interesting, and it could use a little bit more dissection. So anyway, the next thing I really want to see is Queen Nehelenia and the Moon Kingdom. So the third thing I want to see is the Eternal Sailor Soldiers. Now this was completely denied from the original anime, which is unfortunate and fortunate. In the fact that it's fortunate, the outfit's kind of ugly. I don't like it, and I'm happy that Sailor Moon was the only one that got it. And in the Stars manga, you know, they're only eternal for so long because they essentially get killed off almost each act. I believe it's almost like 2 per act, something like that. I know Mercury and Jupiter get killed off right away, and then Venus and Mars are next, and everyone just essentially dies. So like they're not in eternal for a long time, but to see them eternal would be fantastic. And I understand why in Sailor Stars why Toei didn't want to adapt them being eternal, because it's probably a lot to draw. And Stars was 36 episodes. But I really want to see the Eternal Sailor Soldiers come to life. I think that would be really cool. You know, they come to life at the very end of this the Super's Crystal arc, or the Dream arc, so I think seeing them as Eternal would be really cool. It'd be so unique and so different from what we're used to. And then, even though I don't like that outfit particularly, I like the Super outfit a lot more. It'd be something that be really good to see. And alongside of new thing to see is their princess form. Now clearly I have a picture of the Disney princesses because I don't have like an animated drawing of the inners and outers in their princess gowns, but I would love to see, you know, Princess Saturn, Princess Pluto, Princess Mercury, Princess Venus. I would think that'd be really cool. We get a little bit more of their backstory of how the Sailor Soldiers were princesses of the Silver Millennium, and then they were essentially assigned to guard, you know, Usagi or Serenity, which was the inner's duty, and then we learned that the outers were, you know, told to guard, you know, the outer side of the solar system by you know, going to your planet, or in Pluto's case, going to the time gate, which maybe is on Pluto. Who really knows? And Saturn's a little bit more mysterious. We don't know if she was actually awakened during the Silver Millennium. My guess is she was not, but she was probably there sleeping in the castle. So anyway, that's the next thing I want to see, is them being in their eternal form and actually seeing eternal power be done in the Stars anime, which would be really cool. But I just want to see the Eternal Sailor Soldiers adapted, because it's just something that's been neglected. All right, so the next thing I want to see is something that will definitely be coming, but it's something I feel needs to be done, because the Amazonas Quartet is probably one of the most interesting groups of Sailor Moon villains we have. Now, in the Sailor Moon R anime, Kohan, Birdie, and her sisters Calaveras and Pets get reformed and they become good. The same thing essentially happens with the Amazonas Quartet. In S, just like in the manga, all the witches 5 died. There's no reformation for them. But the Amazonas are the only, you know, representation of the inners from the evil side that get to stay alive. And I love that. I also love the fact that they become Sailor Moon's, or Sailor Chibi Moon's, soldiers. I think that's fantastic. I also love the fact how, you know, in the Super S anime, how they also, you know, they defunct from Nehelenia and they go to Sailor Moon's side to help her defeat Queen Nehelenia. But they lose their powers and they don't get to become Sailor Soldiers. So I want to see the Amazonas Quartet, you know, in their action, because I think they're very well developed for manga characters. The Dream arc is, I think, 11 or 12 chapters, so it's pretty short. But in that time, we really do get to see them, and then, you know, seeing them in their sailor forms would be pretty cool as well. So I want to see the Amazonas Quartet in all that they can be, and see them not die, because they're needed. They're very much needed. They're Chibi Moon's team. So that's my fourth thing. And the last thing I want to see, and it's like a weird one. I want to see Double Moon Gorgeous Meditation and Crisis Makeup, but single. We've seen Moon Crisis Makeup single, I should say. Now, we've seen Double Moon Gorgeous Meditation adapted, sort of, in the first 2 episodes of the Super S anime, but she just goes Moon Ha when she sends the attack out, and Chibi Moon is touching her back. And then we see it in the Super S movie, but it's not done like on like a pretty type background, like how Double Rainbow and Heartache and Crystal was done. So I essentially want to see Double Moon Gorgeous Meditation performed like Double Rainbow and Heartache is, you know, on a pretty background and used in that to that extent. I think that'd be very cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing Double Moon Gorgeous Meditation 100% adapted. Like, I feel like these adaptations are like cop-outs in a way. So I'm looking forward to seeing Devil Moon Gorgeous Meditation. And on the lines of that, I want to see Chibi Moon use Moon Gorgeous Meditation by herself and without the help of Pegasus or Sailor Moon, which would be really cool because Chibi Moon does get her own wand to do that. And then I want to see Usagi and Chibiusa transform into Super Sailor Moon without each other. Now, in the Super S anime, it was unfortunate that they were literally bound to each other. They couldn't transform without the other one. Actually, they could, but the animators didn't want to give us individual transformations. So I would love if we got to see those separate transformations adapted in the Dream arc of Sailor Moon Crystal Season 4. So I think that would be really cool. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning into my top 5 ideas or top 5 things I want to see adapted in Sailor Moon Crystal Dream. Share your thoughts about Dream in the comments below. What do you want to see adapted? What are you most looking forward to? And maybe even when you think it's going to be coming out, because it's hopefully coming out soon. Since I am essentially back in good standing on this channel, I'll be doing more reactions and stuff here, but I'll be doing other stuff on R&J as well. It's going to be like a funky little mix for now, because I essentially have how to do stuff like this down. So anyway, share your thoughts about Sailor Moon Crystal Season 4 in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in to my list, and we'll talk real soon. All right, guys.